to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we have our gameplay of Heroes Crossing. So if you haven't seen the setup, you can go back and watch that video. We're going to get right into the gameplay here though. Now, of course, as with all my gameplay videos, it's entirely possible there's going to be some rules errors in here. If you want to see the rules in full and without mistake, be sure to check out my how to play video that I'll be making for Heroes Crossing a little bit later. That should be coming out in the relatively near future. But until then, let's get right down. Oh, and if you do see any mistakes, of course, please point them out to me in the comments and I will make notes of it in the description. So yeah, without anything else, let's get right down to the table and we'll play Heroes Crossing. All right, y'all, here we go. We are starting up with the first round of Heroes Crossing here. Now, the very first thing you do every round is you have to draw your action card to see what your dual actions are going to be. All right, so here we go. The way this works is every time I take an action, I will use one die, and that die will apply to both actions in the row. So for this particular round, bid and produce are paired up, attract and expel, move and get land, modifiers, and spy. Now, the order that they appear doesn't matter. If I were to choose bid and produce, I could produce first and then bid, or vice versa. The only key is that every time I use a die, that die applies to both, which is important because with certain ones, such as bid and produce, both of those, the color of the die matters. So that can make it tricky when figuring out which die to use. Just to go through it real quick, the color of the die does matter for bid, produce, attract, move, and then with the other ones, expel, get land, spy, and modifiers, the color does not matter. Okay, so let's think about what we're going to do here. Oh, actually, before we do anything, of course, we have to roll our dice. Okay, so first, we've got my dice right here. We've got the Phantom player's dice up here. And here is the zoning restriction die. Let's roll that first. All right, so we have an X, which means there is no restriction this round. So that's great. We'll put it right up here so it's easy to keep in sight, but separate from my dice. Next, let's roll my dice. All right, so we've got a 6 with the white die, green, 4, 3 red, and 1 with the blue. Okay, and remember, these let me adjust up one value per token that I use. All right, so let's go with the Phantom player's dice. Now, interesting thing here, the way the Phantom player uses those tokens is, so he's got 2 right now. So when I roll these, the 2 highest are going to be removed from play for this round, which limits the dice that I can steal from him, which stealing is an important part of your strategy here, especially if you start focusing on, particular colors over the others, since every player in the game, and in this case, just me and the Phantom player, only have 1 of each color. All right, so let's see. We've got a 6, 2 5s, and a 3. So the 6 obviously is going to go into the dice graveyard. That takes care of one of these. The other one is a tie with these 2 5s. So I get to choose which one is going to go away. I think that if we look over at the board real quick, hold on, let's scoot over there. Okay, so over here we have a bunch of different things a bunch of different heroes that can use any color die. That's what this symbol means, if you remember. But then we have 2 that need armor, 1 that needs potions. And then let's look at my village real quick. So if you look here, I do have the armor ability, or the armor shop, the smithy, and the shop to be able to produce the armor needed. I don't have any of the green stuff yet. So I think that now, but there is, hold on, let's go over to the board again. There is an apothecary right here, right? So that actually, I would need a green die to bid on that. But I do have my 1 green die, so I think I only need 1. But I would like to have multiple white dice. So where that leaves us is I will have this last ghost player dice modifier token get rid of this green die, which leaves us with the blue and the white. So next up, and this is where most of the action happens during the game, is we have to draft our dice. Now, if it was a multiplayer game, we would take turns going around, and each player would use 1 die at a time. Also, on your turn, you can once per turn steal a die from another player. When you steal a die, you take 1 of your dice and 1 of your dice modifier tokens and give it to the other player, and then take any dice you want from them. It's just for this round, and again, you can only do it once per turn. But that is something that you absolutely can do once returned to modify the dice you have available to you. And again, it does require you to have dice modifier tokens, so the other player is getting something out of the deal, even if you give them a die they really can't use. Okay, so let's think here what we want to do. Okay, we might as well go ahead and steal this white die. I definitely am going to want that white die. So we'll take this. Let's take the red die. I'm not going to use that one this round, even though there is a weaponsmithy that I could bid on, but let's get rid of that. Okay, so now you can see this is how the Phantom player is going to gain more dice modifier tokens to lose more dice in the future rounds. All right, so, and then what I say, I'm taking the white die. Okay, so I like to keep them in order just to give me an idea of what I've got going here. Okay, so that was steal, which is a free action. You can see steal's not on here. It's a free action you do once per turn. So now I'm going to take my 6 white. We'll use that, so that goes into the dice graveyard over here. And I'm going to use the bid and produce line here. Now, unfortunately, this is actually a pretty bad combination here for me right now because there's nothing I can bid on over on the board here. Nothing requires a white die to bid, but I do want to produce because I want to go ahead and start trying to get stuff for these heroes here. And the cool thing is, since that is a 6, anything greater than a 3 allows me to produce 1 additional resource. All right, so I'm going to produce right here at this armor smithy, and since it's a level 1 smithy, it only produces 1 armor normally, but I use a die above a 4 or better, so it produces a second one. Okay, now in order to be able to, and so that's my first turn there. All right, now in order to be able to use that armor, I've got to get it to the armor shop. All right, so the way I'm going to do that is I will use this die, and we'll use the move and get land. Okay, and by the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned this spy. His whole point, I think I might have mentioned the setup phase, but just as a refresher, his whole point is I can't move anything through him, right? So if he moves here, which he would do if I ever used this spy action, then he would come over and block this area. And obviously this is a big hub of transport for me right now, right? So we're using this die right here for move and get land. Okay, so the first thing, might as well move the way. Now that was a 5, right? So that means I can move up to 5 spaces, split up amongst any white cubes that I want, any armor cubes. So 1, 2, right? And then 1, 2, that's 4. I actually have 1 left over. Can't use it for anything, no big deal. Next, the other part of that was get land. So I'm actually going to come over here and take this land. So this is a land, like I said. You don't have to bid on it, even though it's in here with the level 1 stuff. Just like normal land, you just take it, and this guy has no effect. That guy is there to affect bidding. He doesn't have any effect on getting land. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to replace this land with this guarded land. And so now that we've replaced this land with the guarded land, it's protected from the spy, and he can't come in there and wreak havoc in that area, which of course is a pretty important intersection for me based on how I've set those up. Now whenever anything is taken off of these rows here, immediately something comes to fill it. So this right here is another special land. This is called the supply line, and basically what it does is, you saw how I moved my armor cubes across that land earlier. Well, if the supply line is there, that space counts as 0. It doesn't take anything to move through it. So it can really help you if you roll in some low dice for moving, or for whatever reason you've set it up to where you have to move a decent amount of space. That can really help out a lot. Also, I'd like to point out that I got really lucky with this zoning restriction die, because without it, I could not have placed that there. Since it currently has no restriction, that's what let me get in there. If it had been, say, this south, then there's nothing I could have done there, because I would have to place, I still have to follow the zoning restriction die even when I'm replacing land. So it would have had to be a land at the southern, like, so this one would have worked because there's nothing above it type thing, so I'm pretty positive I could have replaced that one. But this one, basically the only way I could have done it is with the X where there's no restriction. At least that's how I understand the rules. Somebody let me know if I'm getting that wrong. So we need to move on to our next action. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up producing and then producing and then moving with the Mage Council to the Magic Shop. And then, so I won't get any I won't be working on any heroes this time around, but next time I'll be able to hopefully attract some heroes and actually manage to gain some heroes into, not really my employee, because it's not really working for me, but have them come and they'll be able to give me their special abilities and stuff. So first things first, we need to steal another die. We'll get the blue die over here. Okay, so that was another free action for stealing. Now, we are going to, oh, by the way, there is a restriction on the number of cubes that can be on a building. No building can have more than 4 cubes on it at any given time. All right, so next up, we're going to do the bid and produce action again. All right, so I will use the 1 die to produce 1 magic item here in the Mage Council. And then there's nothing for me to bid on. There is a magic shop, but I already have this magic shop. Y'all, by the way, I think the reason why I'm having such difficulty focusing is this pixelated artwork is tripping my camera out. Anyway, the magic shop here is level 1. Can't have more than 1 level 1 shop. I'm not sure there'd even really be a good reason for it. So we'll have to just try to build up on this one later. Level 2, level 3, and so on. All right, so then with the move and get land again, I'll use this 3, and we'll go ahead and move this here, okay? And then for get land, this is intriguing because it is worthwhile to have that space that's, you can just move right through freely. But I really think this one right here, if I really start fortifying my area from the spy, that could really help me out in the future, and I could kind of build around these with that in mind. So we're going to take this. Let's go ahead and see what the next building is before we go place it. All right, so we have a level 1, obviously, potion shop, which is good because now we have the apothecary and the potion shop right here. So I can start focusing on getting some green cubes, the potions going here as well, because obviously the monk's going to want that. So definitely something to look for in the future. And then I'm going to go ahead and replace this land. Now, in the FAQ, it does point out that the spy stays there, even though the guarded land has been built. If it's built on the same tile as the spy, it stays. I'll still need to expel the spy to get it out. But at this point, he's pretty well hampered. Now, if I start building around this, then it'll be worthwhile to expel him. And we'll get to that when the time comes. But for now, I've got 2 guarded lands, which is pretty good. Okay, so next up we have Resolve Hero Attraction. Now, when Hero Attraction is resolved, the Phantom player sells to every hero they have a worker above. And if I had tried to attract these heroes as well, the Phantom player is always considered to have a die of 4 there. And so essentially, you'd imagine they have a 4 here. And if I had attracted with well, actually, you gotta have green. Okay, there it is. So green, this bottom corner here shows what you attract with. So the monk needs a green, the knight would need a white. But if the Phantom player has a 4 there, and then I were to put where's my green die? A 5 here, then I would actually attract him first because my die is higher. And of course, if I had placed something lower, like a 1, then the Phantom player would sell first. And so you can, keep that in mind as you go through and play accordingly, because you want to be the final person to sell to the hero, because whoever sells to the hero last is the one that actually manages to take the hero. So with all that being said, I obviously did not attempt to attract any heroes, so the Phantom player will attract first. The Phantom player will always sell a number of resources equal to the hero level, so in this case 1 each. And so in this case they will sell 1 here, and they always sell to the rightmost, so in this case it doesn't matter what color because it's wild, and to the wildling. All right, and so now we're going to enter the cleanup phase. So first we'd resolve any building bids, but we don't have any bids on the buildings. And again, in the case of a solo game, if I were to bid on a building without the Phantom player above it, then I would win the building automatically. If the Phantom player is above a building, then I can only use a die 5 or greater. So the idea is that there, I've got to make sure I get a higher bid, and so 5 or greater, and obviously don't bid on land, but here I would need a 5 to get the potion shop with the Phantom player above it. But again, no buildings are bid on. The Phantom player never wins buildings or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, if the heroes, if any of them had been taken, I would restock them now. And if once a level 2 hero comes out, then we progress the era, which means level 2 buildings would now start coming out at this point. And if I use any hero powers, I'd refresh them now. At this point, return any workers, which really doesn't apply here. In a multiplayer game, you'll be putting workers out with your dice on heroes that you're attracting, as well as buildings you're bidding on. Just to keep clear whose dice are whose, and this is the point when you take those back. But we really don't do that in a solo game for obvious reasons. All right, next up we got to return the dice. All right, so everybody gets one of each color back. And then if it was a multiplayer game, the zoning restriction die would now pass to the new first player. And the last thing that you do on a solo game, that this is obviously not in a multiplayer game, you move the Phantom player to the right 1 space, and these are where they're now attracted to. As level 2 buildings come out, these will wrap down here and go like that. Okay, so now that's an entire round, so let's move on to the next round. So first things first, we gotta get our new set of actions. All right, so we've got bid and spy, attract and move, expel and modifiers, and produce and get land. Roll the zoning restriction die. We have west this time, which is going to be a problem. I have no land over here, so I'm definitely going to have to get land in order to build it all, because buildings can't be next to buildings. I have 2 5s there, a white 4, and a green 1, and then Phantom player. Okay, so again, we have 2 of these, so we got to get rid of the 2 highest. Well, the 5 is definitely going to the graveyard, and then we've got 3 2s here. All right, so I think I'll let the blue go away this time. I'm going to keep the green and the white. So first things first, I'm going to use my white die to attract the knight. Okay, so I'll put that there. And the other option then is move, but I don't really have anything going on there, and I'm not going to produce any more armor this turn, so that's just going to be wasted. But I do have the attraction going there. All right, so next up I want to get some dice modifiers, because I'm out of those. And let's see, I think we'll use the red die to do that. So let's go and put that in the dice graveyard. Now, to get modifiers, that also includes expel, and to expel a spy I have to use a die greater than 3, which I obviously did. So now the spy is gone for now. And the other thing, like I said, dice modifiers, if I use a 1 2 or 3, I get 2 dice modifiers. If I use above a 3, I only get 1. So unfortunately I do only get 1 there, but at least I have that. With this blue 5, I think I will go ahead and produce some more potions, or not potions, magic items. So produce with a 5 gets me 2 magic items there, and then produce is matched up with get land. So might as well go and get this one right here. We have to build to the west, so I think we'll put it here. And then of course we need to refill the spot. Another land. So this land gives you 3 victory points at the end of the game. Of course, in a solo game, I'll usually just go ahead and add the victory points, but that is worth 3 victory points there. And then the last thing we have is this 1 green. And I think we might as well go ahead and start trying to set up what we need to build, or to produce potions as well, since we don't have that capability yet. And over here, obviously to produce, we need the apothecary, but this guy's here, and to bid on a building with one of the phantom workers, I have to have a 4 or higher. So instead we'll just get the potion shop, which won't be useful to us yet, but it is still a piece that we need to be able to produce later on, or to be able to sell later on and attract. So we'll put that there, and that's all of our dice. So let's go into the next phase, which is of course the Resolve Hero attraction phase. And we have, first off, of course, let's go into the Phantom players. They are going to attract with the Wild, all right. And then I have that die there on the Knight. So I take one of my armor cubes from my armor shop and put it here. And since that's a level 1 armor shop, as you can see right here, it has a 1 victory point. So I do gain a victory point. Remember, I'm trying to get to 40 by the end of the game. So let's go ahead and take this die off, and those go away. I put the final cube onto the Knight, so I have successfully attracted him to my village. You can see up here, he's worth 1 victory point, so let's do that. I believe technically these may come into play at the end of the game, but again, in the solo, I just go ahead and put them all on there. And his special ability, you may use an armor die as though it were any colored die. Next, we move into the cleanup. And, oh, and of course this building, I gained it because of that die there, which we can put the potion shop. So actually we're running out of room here, so I'm gonna have to slide this over just a bit because we have to build to the west. So the only place that can go is right here. Then of course we need to immediately refill here, and we've got another potion shop. All right, not useful to us, but no big deal. Then we got to restock the heroes, which means we have our first level 2 hero, the Chemist. Okay, so you can see worth 2 victory points, can be attracted with a green die, requires 2 potions and anything else. Treat a die used for producing or moving resources as though it were a 6 for the production or movement only. And now we progress the era because we do have a level 2 hero out, so we've got level 2 buildings now. We have a level 2 armor shop, a level 2 weaponsmithy, and a level 2 Mage Council. Let's go and get these dice back to their rightful owners. All right, so that action card's done. The next one, going into the next round, we've got bid and get land, attract and modifiers, move and spy, and produce and expel. Okay, so the zoning, we can build north this time. All right, so right now we only have this spot we can build on for buildings. My dice, we've got 5, 2 4s, and a 3, not too bad. And the Phantom player, who has no modifier tokens this time. So all of these dice will be available for stealing. He's got a 6, a 5, a 2, that was a 2, and a 1. One thing I forgot to do during the cleanup phase there was this guy goes here, he moves, and he moves. Okay. All right, so first thing I think I'm gonna do is take my white die, my 3 here, and attract the defender, who obviously only needs one more, one armor die to be attracted. And let's see. And combined with attract is modifiers, and since I use a 3, I will get 2 tokens. So that brings me up to 3 tokens. And then I think I will bid, I'm gonna bid on this apothecary so that I can start producing some potions as well. So That'll go right there. And combined with bid is get land. So I'll go ahead and take this one. And we have to build to the north. So I'll actually, let's put it right here. And of course I get the apothecary, and I'll place it right here. And like I said, in a solo, I go ahead and I take those 3 points just so I don't have to count up at the end of the game. So that moves me there. I'm at 5. All right, so now we of course have to refill. All right, that is an excavation and a mage council. Now what this lets me do is I can actually build a level 2 or 3 building on that land space instead of having to start with level 1. I'm sorry, I said excavation, I meant foundation. So now I think I'm actually going to steal. Let's see, do I need, I'm not gonna use the red. I'm gonna put the red over here, obviously one of these, and steal the white. I'll then use the white die to bid on a level 2 armor shop, and bid of course has the get land as well. And the foundation has to be placed as if it were a building, since a building will be on it eventually. So the only place I could place it, yeah, that's the only spot I can place it, since north is currently the direction that we are zoned. And then we have an armor shop come out. And then I have 1 die left, which I think I'll use to attract the wildling with this blue die, because I do have 1 item in my magic shop right now, and get another modifier for that. So get 1 more modifier to replace the one that I just used to steal that die. And that's all my dice. So that's the round. So real quick, first we have to, oh, I never did resolve this. I'm sorry, never resolved this. Let's take that. So this is a level 2 armor shop, which I can use to replace my level 1 armor shop. And so now what that means is every time I sell armor, I will actually gain 2 victory points instead of just 1. And of course this needs to be replaced, and we have a level 2 mage council. So we've got 2 of those now, which obviously not going to be useful because I only really need 1, but all right, so now that I've finished drafting the dice, got to resolve the hero attraction. We have, well, first, let's see. Start with the wildling. I've got a 4. This guy's considered to have a 4. He was there first, so he'll put 1 down, and then I will take 1 from my magic shop and get the final spot there. And that, of course, is worth 1 victory point. That puts me at 6. I take the wildling, who is also worth 1 victory point. That first victory point was for selling from my level 1 magic shop. The other one is for the wildling itself. And remember, his power is you may re-roll any unused resource die. Then we're going to attract the defender. I have an armor cube in my shop, or now I have a level 2 shop now, so that's worth 2 victory points. That goes away. And his ability, add or subtract 1 to any unused armor die. And then the phantom player is going to sell to the chemist. And that's it for the attraction. So now we have to restock the heroes. So we've got a level 2, which is a dancer. You may use any die to attract any hero. Turn it to its 3 side. And a hunter. Exhaust an opponent's hero. That hero cannot use an ability this round. Okay, so that ability is not going to be useful for me in solo, but I would still get some points. We don't need to progress the era. Basically, at this point, all we need to do is return the dice. The phantom players, guys, need to move. And next round. We'll be building east this time. And let's see, I've got a 5, a 3, another 3, and a 2. The Phantom player will have 1 die removed, which will be this green 4. And then he's got a 3, a 1, and a 2. Now, I did forget, this usually is drawn at the beginning prior to rolling the dice, but no big deal. So we've got bid and expel, attract and produce, get land and spy, and modifiers and move. Okay, so first I'm going to use my green die to produce. Now it's a 3. I'm going to change it to a 4 using one of these dice modifiers. And produce with a 4 will give me 2 potions here at the apothecary. Okay, and produce is also linked up, let's see, with attract. Okay, so I can use, because of the knight, I can use a green die for anything. So I could use a white die for anything, an armor die. So I could technically use this one to try to attract. The problem is I don't have any potions down here at the potion shop. And because of that, you know, I do have this other white die up here, but remember, these hero abilities can only be used once per round. So I can't use both white die as a green. So instead, I think I'm just going to leave that alone and not use his ability yet. I'm not going to attract anybody with potions right now. So instead, we'll move on to the next die, and we're gonna get these potions in a position to be able to be used soon. And so we're going to move them using this. Now, I want to go and get both of them down here. So I'm going to need 4 total movement. This is a 2. I'm going to use my last 2 dice modifiers to change this to a 4. All right. So that'll give me 4 movement total to get them down there. So they'll be ready to go next round for giving to some heroes. Next, I think we're going to bid. We're going to take that blue 3 that I've got there, and we're going to put it on this level 2 Mage Council. And bid is combined with expel, but I don't have a spy in my lane right now, so no big deal. So let's take this. Oh, by the way, when I use that white die to move, that would have exhausted my knight, so he'll be turned sideways right now. All right, so now I've got this, and I will place it right, where's the Mage Council? Right up here. So what that means now is the Mage Council at its base level, if I use a 1, 2, or 3 to produce, will produce 2 now. If I use a 4, 5, or 6, it'll produce 3. And then I've got that red die left. I'm gonna use the red die to try to get more modifiers. I could just get 1 with the 5, but I might as well use my wildling to re-roll it. That's still a 5. If I got a 1, 2, or 3, I could have gotten 2 modifiers. But I do get 1 modifier with the red die. So there we go. So now we move on to the attract heroes, and we've got the Phantom player here getting this guy, and then the Phantom player does attract the monk. So basically, when a Phantom player attracts the monk, it's just taking out a play for me. Phantom player doesn't have any victory points, but it does prevent me from attracting him and does progress the game because obviously more heroes are going to come out. Oh, and you know what? I never restocked the building here. Let's do that real quick. That should have happened as soon as I built it. We have a level 2 armor smithy. That'll be useful. And so now we restock the heroes. This is our final level 2 hero. Got a princess, plus 2 victory points at the end of the game. All right. Progress the era, not necessary yet. Refresh our heroes. Return the dice. And we start our next round. All right, so we've got bid and modifiers, attract and get land, move and expel, and produce and spy. We are zoned for east again. And we've got blue 5, red 4, green 4, and white 1. The Phantom player, meanwhile, red 4, a green and white 2, and a blue one. So first thing I'm going to attract, and I'm going to attract the chemist. All right, and that's combined with get land. So we'll just take a land off of the generic land pile, and we can build to the east. So let's build down here. Next up, you know what? I don't have any way to produce weapons yet. So I'm going to go ahead and bid on this weaponsmith. Oh wait, I did not move the phantom player, so hold on. So what that means now is I'm going to need a 5 to bid on this weaponsmithy. Fortunately, I have this red 4, and I do have 1 dice modifier, so that rolls up to a 5, and I'm good to go there. And bidding is actually combined with modifiers anyway, so I get that modifier right back. And then we take this building, and you know what, let's go ahead and refill this so I don't forget. We've got a level 2 magic shop, and we're building east, but I'm going to go ahead and actually build this on this foundation. So next up, I'm going to move, let's see, yeah, I'm going to move these to here. I needed 4 total to move them there. I used a 5, so I'm good. And move is combined with expel, which obviously I don't need right now. I'm going to steal, move this over here, move that here, and I'll steal this green die. And I'll use the green die to attract the dancer. And that's all my dice for the round. So next up we have resolve hero attraction as usual. So 1 there. I'll let this guy go first. Or actually, I think he does go first. Oh, but I forgot. We should attract this direction. So technically this wouldn't be here yet. So let's take care of the dancer. Okay, now, even though I use the green die, I can sell the hero any resources I have currently available, and I do have resources in both my potion shop and my magic shop, so I will sell both of those to the dancer. Okay, so the magic shop and the potion shop are both level 1 right now, so I get 2 points for that. Puts me at 11. And I have now successfully attracted the dancer, who is worth 2 more points. And then next up we've got right here, so again the phantom player does that, and then my bad. And then I have 1 potion, so that's 1 point. And the chemist has been attracted. I get 2 more points for him. And we move on to clean up. So we need to restock the heroes, and we're moving into level 3 as well. We have the Grand Priest. You may trade 3 resources for +1 victory point as a free action. And the Alchemist, +1 victory point for each potion resource in your town at the end of the game. Okay. All right, return the dice to the players and begin the new round. But of course, before the new round begins, the Phantom workers move. And I forgot to start the new, progress the era. So let's go ahead and get these 2 level 3 buildings out. Level 3 apothecary and level 3 armor shop. Now that was the last action, or action card. So I have to reshuffle the action cards, and we just start going through them again. So this time we've got bid and modifiers, attract, get land, move and expel, and produce and spy. And our zoning restriction is north, okay, which is not good if we want to build anything new because we don't have any spots available. We've got a 6, 5, 4, 2. Now he's going to lose the highest, which is the green 5 goes away. because of that. And then we've got a white 4, blue 3, and red 2. So I think what I want to try to make sure I can do at the end of this round is successfully attract the princess. She'll give me 2 extra victory points at the end of the game. The Grand Priest is also, who's right here off the screen. The Grand Priest is also pretty attractive, but he will take a little bit extra work, so I can maybe let the Phantom player do a little bit of that attraction, and then we'll get to him a little bit later. So right now, if I attract with a die higher than 4, I will place things out first, and then the Phantom player. Oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, that's a flawed plan, because if I attract first, I don't have the ability to attract with the with weapons yet, because I don't have a weapon smithy. Now, all right, a little better view of what's going on over here. There is a weapon smithy out here, so I could get that, bring that over, but then I'd have to also produce. Do I have what it takes to complete that order by the end of? Okay. Well, the princess, I do want to get to the princess. I think I might focus instead on these level 3 characters, because they don't require weapons. And at this stage in the game, I might, even though I have built the weapon smithy, so I can produce weapons. I think I said I couldn't produce weapons. I can produce them, I can't sell them. And we don't have a weapon shop available for me. So, okay, so we're going to ignore the princess. We're going to ignore the hunter for now. And we'll try to get the Grand Priest this turn, and probably the alchemist next turn. Okay, yep, there we go. Let's refocus and do that. So right off the bat, let's just go ahead and attract the Grand Priest. And attract also is paired up with get land, as you can see there. So we'll just grab a land off the top of the generic land pile, and let's put it right here, with the plan being that if a weapon shop does come up, hopefully I can build it up there maybe. We'll see. Because I have the ability to build right here, would be east or south, and so that gives me north but not west. So actually, hold on, let's move this knight. I will put this here, because now I have north and west as well. Okay, so no matter what, I can build at this point if needed. And so now that Grand Priest requires 2 potions, a magic item, and then something else. I actually think we do have a level 2 magic shop available over here. So I might as well go ahead and upgrade this, or upgrade mine with this, instead of, you know, just getting the 1 victory point. I could get 2. The knight's ability is you may use an armor die as though it were any color. So I will use the knight's ability, and I'll put my 6 right there. And bid is combined with attract. I'm sorry, a bid is combined with modifiers. So that's a 6, so I get 1 modifier with that. And then let's go and take this, which goes right here. Forget to put the new one out. We have a guarded land, okay? Okay, so now we will use this green 4 to generate 2 potions at our apothecary. We're not going to be able to move them this turn, but next turn we can do that. And now here's the unfortunate thing. Produce is paired up with spy. So normally in a multiplayer game, spy is a good thing. You get to put your spy out on somebody else's land, interfere with their ability to move their goods around. In this game, in a solo game, it just means the Phantom player is going to interfere with you. But fortunately, you get to put him out anywhere you want and initially, and so I'll put him up there so he's completely out of the way right now. And then we have one die left. I'm looking at my special abilities. I don't believe there's anything really that I can do with it. I could go in and build armor here, but that's not really going to be helpful. I know what. Okay, we're going to steal. Okay, and now let's go ahead and... Oh, no, can't do that either. I'll show you what I was thinking. I was thinking that I would bid on the smithy, but because there's a Phantom player there, I need a 5 or better, and I just used my 1 dice modifier to steal, so I can't do that. Can't get this apothecary because my apothecary is level 1 and that's a level 3, so I need to find a level 2, which obviously you don't have yet either. I'm going to use my defender to subtract 1 from this die, so it goes down to a 3. All right, and then I'm going to use the modifiers action to gain 2 dice modifiers. And the other part of that is bid, but there's nothing really for me to bid on, so I'll just ignore that part. All right, so now we're at Resolve Hero Attraction. So, of course, the Phantom player is going to get that guy. I am attracting this Grand Priest. I only have 1 cube right now to do that with, so that'll go there. And that gives me 2 victory points, gets me up to 18. And then, of course, this Phantom player also will attract the princess. All right, so I got to refresh my 2 heroes. We're in the cleanup phase here. And everybody gets their dice back. And now, starting a new round, we've got bid and expel, attract and produce, get land and spy, modifiers, and move. We are zoned. All right, so I get to choose where we're zoned for, and I'll go south. I've got 5, 3, and 2 1s. And I remember the highest one's gonna get discarded. Yeah, oh wow, I can discard any of those 3. I think I will go with the blue. All right. Oh, and that reminds me, I forgot to move these guys again, so let's do that. I think I'm going to go for the Alchemist this turn, who needs 3 more potions. Oh, wait. To go for the Alchemist, to successfully go for the Alchemist, I'll have to... All right, I'm not going to go for the Alchemist. I'm going to go for the Grand Priest. Yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, so first I'm going to steal with... I don't think I'm going to use blue at all this turn. So throw this over here. Oh, no, not over there. That goes here. This one got discarded because he did discard his highest die. Take my blue, go over here, and bring this green 6 over here. Okay. Now, we need to move these down to the potion shop. So I will use my green 6 to move to there. And really that only would have required 4, but I had some extra there. And I will use this right here to attract. And hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's not forget that the move is paired up with modifiers, so I do get 1 dice modifier for moving with that green 6. So I got that now. All right, so anyway, the 1 green is going to attract the Grand Priest. Now I think that while this is available, I need to go ahead and bid on it. So I'll use my white 1 there to bid on right here, and you can see bid is paired up with expel, so I Do not, though, get rid of this guy, because to get rid of the spy, I would need a 4 or higher, I believe. Let me double check that. Yep, anything greater than 3, okay? But I do get this level 2 armor smithy. All right, so now my smithy will have a base production level of 2. And we have a level 2 potion shop, which is good. Oh, I don't have any way of getting it this turn, though. That's too bad. But that's all right. In case when I'm about to, because I've decided I'm going to get land with this as my final action. The spy, well, let me get my land first. I'm going to get this guarded land that's over here on level 2, and I'm going to place it right there. All right, so anyway, what the spy would do if this wasn't guarded is he would move here. But since it is guarded, he stays where he is, and I'm fine. All right, and then the new level 2 that comes out is a weapon shop. That'd be great if I get a level 1 weapon shop, but that's probably not going to happen at this point. Okay, so that's the end of the round. Well, I'm sorry, not the end of the round. That's the end of my drafting of dice. So now we move on to the attract heroes, of course. So we've got the spy, or the phantom player doing that. And we've got the phantom player who has a 4 by default is going to attract. So that goes there. And then now I'm going to attract with these 2 potions that are on a level 1 potion shop. So I get 2 victory points total for that. Puts me at 20. And now I have successfully attracted the priest, the grand priest, excuse me. So that's going to be another 3 victory points. Okay. And you may trade 3 resources for +1 victory point as a free action. So one thing I haven't talked about yet is that at any time during the game, you can trade 4 resources for 1 victory point. Normally I save that all for the end of the game if I have any extra resources. This guy will let me be more efficient with that, and it'll be 3 instead of 4. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now we move on to the cleanup phase. Our new hero is the Gunslinger. This is cool. I've not seen her before. When gaining the Gunslinger from the visiting heroes, you and a target opponent roll a die. The winner gains 3 victory points. The loser loses 1 victory point. You win on a tie. So I guess I would automatically win because I'm solo, or would I have? I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not going to get her because she has those weapons, and I've kind of sworn off of that's really not something I'm focusing on this game, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But still, pretty cool character there. Okay, and moving on to the new round. Oh, well, I'm doing this out of order. We need to get our action first. But so the zoning is north. 6, 4, and 2 2s. The phantom player is going to lose the top die here, which is the red 5. All right, that's not terrible. We've got a 4, a 3, and a 2. And like I said, we're supposed to get a new action, so let's see what that is. Bid and get land, attract and modifiers, move and spy, produce and expel. And as usual, I was supposed to move these at the end of the round. I keep forgetting this, but at least I remember before it causes any issues in game. All right, I am going to get this alchemist this turn. So, first things first. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to set myself up for getting this alchemist next turn. So, first thing we need to do is get the potion shop level 2, which currently has a phantom player on it. So I need to get this red 4 because I have to bid with a 5 or better. So we'll have to modify that up to a 5. So let's steal. I'm going to use this red to steal this. Okay. And now let's use this to modify this up to a 5. All right. And we're going to bid on the potion shop. Okay. Now bid has get land as its paired action. So we'll go ahead and get a generic land and we'll put it right here. So now we do get the potion shop. So it goes here, and now we'll get 2 points per potion that we sell. Now, speaking of which, let's go ahead and get one potion put out, okay? So we're gonna produce right there. And let's not forget, we have a level 2 armor shop right here. Now, produce is combined with expel, but again, I use a die too low to expel the spy, so that's not gonna do anything for me. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and produce 2 more times. I'll use this to produce armor. Now my armor shop or armor smithy is level 2, so it's gonna produce 2 armor, all right? And I'll use this for my Mage Council, also level 2, so since that's a 4 or higher, it produces 3 magic items. And like I said, produce is combined with expel, and a 6 is high enough to get rid of this guy, so he is gone now. And that's all my dice for drafting. So let's resolve the hero attraction. All right, so that goes there, and this goes here. Moving on to the cleanup phase. Pretty much all we've got to do is return the dice to each other. First, we get a new action card. Bid and produce, attract and expel, move and get land, and modifiers and spy. Oh, let's not forget, move these guys. North, all right. We've got a couple of 6s. 5 and a 1. And the phantom player will get rid of the white 6 or the green 6. We'll have the white 6. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and produce with this. So that's going to give me 2 more potions here. All right. And okay, now I need another green die. I need to steal that green die. So I'm going to need a modifier. So we'll use this red die to gain 2 modifiers. And that also is paired with spy. So we'll bring the spy back into this spot right here. So now let's steal that green die, and I think we'll use the white one for that. Nope, no, not the white one. I'm sorry. I'm going to use the blue one. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. I was thinking that the dancer said I could use an armor die to attract any hero, but actually she says I can use any die to attract any hero, so it really wouldn't matter. White or blue, doesn't matter which one I gave him. All right, so now let's use the 6 green to move all 3 of these to the potion shop. And move is combined with get land. Might as well just get one of these and place it. And finally, we're going to use the dancer ability, all right, to move this over there to attract the alchemist, which normally would require a green die to attract him. And attract is combined with expel, and 6 is high enough to expel the spy, so he's gone again. And that's all my dice. So now let's resolve attract heroes. First, this guy does successfully attract the hunter, so the hunter's gone. And now with me, I have enough potions, and each of them gives me 2 points. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have successfully attracted the alchemist. So plus 1 victory point for each potion resource in your town to the end of the game, okay? The end game is coming pretty soon here. And then this guy won on the gunslinger. Okay. Moving on into the cleanup, we need to restock our heroes, which this is the final one, the gambler. When gaining the gambler, you may roll a die. On a 1 through 4, gain 3 victory points. On a 5 or 6, lose 1 victory point. And now you can see we have no more heroes, so that means we play 2 more rounds and then the game's over. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh my heroes. The dancer is the only one who had been exhausted. I will return all the dice. And let's not forget to move these guys. And we begin another round. This is round 1 of 2 final rounds. Bid and spy, attract and move, expel modifiers, and produce and get land. Okay, the zoning die is a south. I've got a 6, a 5, 2 3s, so red or white 6 has to get discarded. We'll discard the red. And there we go, 6, 4, and 3. So I think right off the bat, we're going to attract the gambler. I'm going to use my, well, let's see, I do have enough resources to attract them all the way. Well, the question is, do I get them to, can I get them all to where they need to go? So, you know what, before we attract them, let's see how I can set up my resources so I can get them to the shops I need to go to. All right, so first off, it's going to take me 6 to get all these magic items down here to the magic shop. And I do have the chemist. Treat a die used for producing or moving resources as though it were 6 for those purposes only. So I'm going to use his ability with this blue die. So it's as if it's a 6 for the movement, which gets all of these down here. Okay, so that's good. And move is combined with attract. So this will, I'll go and put that up there on the gambler. So that means that the Phantom player is going to attract, is going to provide 1 resource to the gambler, and then I'll provide the final 4. So I only need 1 more resource on the shop for the gambler. So might as well use my white die to move these 2. And since, again, move is combined with attract, I will put it on the gunslinger. Now, while I'm not going to successfully attract her to my village, I will provide her with 1 more resource, which will be worth some victory points. And now remember, my alchemist is going to give me 1 victory point for each potion in my village at the end of the game. So let's go ahead and produce some more potions with this 5. That's going to give me 2 potions here at the apothecary. And produce is combined with get land. So why not? Let's get an extra land and put it right here. All right. And then we have 1 die left. I'm going to steal this. That was a 4. That green die. Okay. And I'm going to use it to produce 2 more potions. Get another land. Nah, we don't need more land. We'll leave that alone. But that's all my dice for the round. So let's go ahead and attract these heroes. So like I said, he'll do that, and then I will put 3 potions on the gambler, worth 2 points each. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll put 1 armor on the gambler, worth 2 more. Okay, and I'm going to take the gambler who's worth 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And you know what? I have never gotten the gambler. I'm going to use this ability. Why not, right? Let's do it. These are pretty good odds. If I get a 1 through a 4, I'm going to gain 3 victory points. Otherwise, I'll just lose 1 victory point. I will take those odds any day. It's a 1, so I get 3 victory points. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm above 40, so I'm already winning the game now. Now it's more about seeing if I can beat my previous high score, which was 54. So still got a ways to go to beat that, but every little bit helps. So now I got to refresh my heroes. This was the only hero who needed refreshing. And of course, the dice need to be returned to their rightful owners. And time to start the final round of the game. Bid and expel, attract and produce, get land and spy and modifiers and move. Speaking of moving, that guy will go there, which I guess means this guy goes there, here, and here. Okay? No zoning restriction. Got a 5, 2 4s, and a 2. One of these will get discarded. It is the white 5. Then there's a 3 and 2 2s. Okay. All right, here we go. Final round of the game. All right, so as you can see, I do have potentially one more item I could sell here to the gunslinger. Well, yes. Okay, here we go. I will do that. All right, so let's go ahead and attract. I have to use a red die to attract, as you can see here. And then attract is combined with produce. So I'll produce 3 weapons right here. All right. And so really, I think the rest of this turn is going to be all about the production. So we will use this die to produce 3 magic items here. Produce, like I said, is combined with the track, so I'm not going to really be able to do anything with that. Use this die to produce 3 armor here. And I can't use this die to produce because each building can only have 4 items on it at a time. So with that one, I really think there's really not anything I can do with that. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just going to leave that one alone. No big deal. That die will just kind of go away. Okay, so now attract heroes. I have a 5, which means I get to attract first. And I will throw this armor up there, which is 2 points. 1, 2. Gets me up to 43. And then, of course, the Phantom player does that, and the Phantom player does that. So the princess is attracted. Doesn't really have any bearing on the game, but that does technically happen. Okay, but that's pretty much the end of the game. So now we go to the cleanup phase. But really what that means is we're going to do some in-game scoring here. So I believe, real quick, I just want to show you this. I believe that the Grand Priest and the Alchemist are going to be mutually exclusive. So I don't believe I can count 1 victory point for each potion and then trade them away with this. So I think that with the potions, we'll just go with the Alchemist and then everything else we can trade. So with the potions, I have 5 potions in my village. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gets me right there to 48. All right, so now with all the rest of the resources, every 3 resources will give me 1 additional victory point. So we have 3 right here that I can trade. That's 1. 3 right here. That's 2. And 3 right here. There we go. So 51 points. Not quite my best score, but very close. So there you go. That is technically a win for me because I did get above 40 points. However, I did not score more than my highest score. So I kind of consider that kind of a halfway win for me. But I really do have a lot of fun playing this game. So if you think this is a game that you might be interested in, be sure to check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will come back for more. Like I said, we'll have a how to play video of Heroes Crossing coming up sometime in the near future. And of course, we've got all kinds of other great videos already out and coming out soon. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.